Well, I mean, it's very tempting to put Modi and Trump in, and say, oh, look, they're the same kind of thing. But in fact, I think they're quite different because, I mean, you know better than me about the situation here, but from what, from the way I see it, surely Trump is the residue of the failure of the Democrats, and he's a man who lives in a golden tower. Let's not talk about golden shower, but golden tower, and has sort of set himself up as some kind of trade union leader. This is the kind of psychosis of what we're going through now. Like, you sit on a golden throne and you're like the biggest corporate businessman you can be, and you're really winning votes from the working class. And the people who claim to be the representatives of the working class have forgotten what that even means, right? So, but Modi, and so Trump, I mean, he's somewhat of an outlier who seems to make even the Republican establishment pretty uncomfortable because they don't exactly know what he's going to say or how he's going to be from day to day. And, maybe, but Modi is not that. Modi belongs to an organization called the RSS, as I said earlier, which was born in 1925 and has been working towards this moment for close to 100 years. So they have penetrated all the institutions of democracy. Whatever else they have hundreds of thousands of workers. They work in the forest, they work with the indigenous people, they work in primary schools, they work in publishing, they have everything is taped up, So it's a culmination of 100 years of unstinting labor towards declaring India a Hindu nation. And the violence of it now is that they have, for the first time in their own history, secured such a massive majority in parliament and in various states. And so now the violence is being unleashed in ways that are absolutely terrifying. I mean, people are just pulling Muslims' beards, forcing them to chant Hindu slogans, forcing them to wear tikas, lynching them on the streets. The same with Dalits who are being killed, flogged on the streets openly for transporting cattle. Yesterday, 2 Muslims were lynched. The thing that they fear more than anything else, because they have defeated the political opposition, what they fear more than anything else is not even intellect, just cleverness. So they're dismantling universities, they're replacing syllabuses, and in places like Kashmir, the belligerence is now being met by a population that has lost all fear. So there are girls in hijab holding basketball, throwing stones at military tanks. The situation is so terrifying. When a man is lynched, in 2015, a man was lynched for suspected to have beef in his fridge. And when they say that in front of his family, in front of crowds, just near Delhi, and when they say they're going to take the evidence for forensic examination, they don't mean the body of the man, they mean the food in the fridge to see if it's beef or it's not beef, and Muslims are being driven into refugee camps. We are set to have them control both houses and change the Indian constitution, which they've always said they will do. So it will quite likely no longer even be formally be called a secular socialist republic. I mean, socialist, forget, long ago. But, I mean, no one has been secular, but at least they pretended to be. And now there will be no pretense. Writers are being killed. There are thousands of people in jail being charged with sedition or charged under this Public Security Act, jail without trial, hundreds of Muslims, hundreds of indigenous people. So it's a you know, and it's not, and obviously it all goes pretty much under the radar, not totally unreported, but as long as the markets are open, as long as it's a good finance destination, you're not going to hear a coherent story about this, you know, and about the fact that in the 2014 elections, he was backed by massive corporate money.